Okay, let's talk about one of the most exciting and, let's be honest, one of the most intimidating home projects out there, the kitchen remodel. We're going to pull back the curtain on the costs, not to scare you, but to give you the confidence you need to make amazing decisions for your dream kitchen.
It's the big question, right? You're scrolling through Pinterest, you're watching those home reno shows, and you see these gorgeous kitchens, but nobody ever seems to talk about what it actually costs to get there. It's the one thing they always leave out.
And that's exactly where that feeling of being overwhelmed starts to creep in. You might see two kitchens that look practically identical, but you find out one costs double the other. And you're left wondering, how is that even possible? Well, it's not about someone getting a bad deal. It's usually because the biggest costs are the things you can't even see.
So what's the secret? It's not some hidden price list. It's actually a way of thinking, a mental framework that pros use to look at any project. And today, we're going to walk through it so you can use the exact same framework to build your own budget with total clarity.
I think this is where most people get it backwards. A really good contractor isn't going to start by asking for a number so they can squeeze your dream into it. No, they start by trying to understand the full picture of that dream. The budget really just becomes the result of your decisions, not the starting point.
And they figure out that vision by asking 4 really simple but powerful questions. First, what are we touching? Are we just swapping out the countertops, or is this a full gut job, floor to ceiling? Second, what are we moving? Is the sink staying where it is, or are we totally redesigning the layout? Third, what level of finishes are you dreaming of? Are we talking beautiful, durable basics, or are we going for top-of-the-line custom materials? And finally, the big one, what's behind the walls? They always have to plan for the possibility of old wiring or plumbing that might need an upgrade.
Once you have the answers to those questions, any project, no matter how big or small, can be broken down into 5 basic building blocks. These are the categories where every single dollar you spend is going to end up. And here they are. You've got labor, structural and layout changes, cabinetry, surfaces and finishes, and systems and fixtures. Now we're showing these as equal slices, but here is the single most important thing to understand. There are no fixed percentages in a kitchen remodel. The size of these slices is 100% determined by your choices. You are in complete control.
So let's just quickly define what's in these buckets. Labor is pretty simple. It's the skilled people making it all happen. Structural and layout is for any time you move walls, plumbing, or electrical wires. Cabinetry, well, that's often the biggest single item on the list. Surfaces and finishes are all the things you see and touch, like your countertops, floors, and backsplash. And finally, systems and fixtures covers your appliances, your sink, and all your lighting.
Okay, now that we have the buckets, let's look at how they all connect. This is where things get really interesting, and it's where a lot of budgets can get away from people. It's the ripple effect, where one little choice can send waves across the entire project.
Let's use a perfect example. You want to move the sink. Maybe it's under a window and you want it in your new kitchen island. Seems pretty simple, right? Just a little tweak to the layout.
But here's the hidden chain reaction. Moving that sink means you've got to reroute the plumbing, which probably means cutting into the floor or the ceiling. It also means moving the electrical for your dishwasher and garbage disposal. All of that work, it requires permits and official inspections. And then, after all that's done, you have to pay for the finish work to patch up the drywall and fix the flooring. So that one simple choice just touched almost every single one of our budget buckets. See how that works?
And this ripple effect isn't just about moving things around. It's also a huge factor when it comes to the materials you choose. And there's no better example of this than with your kitchen cabinets.
Generally, you're looking at 3 main tiers. Stock cabinets are the most budget-friendly, but they only come in standard sizes, so you might end up with some weird gaps. Semi-custom gives you a lot more flexibility with sizes and styles. And then you have custom, which are built from scratch to fit your space perfectly, using every last inch. So the price jump isn't just about a nicer-looking door. You're really paying for flexibility and a perfect fit.
All right, let's talk about everybody's least favorite topic, hidden costs. But I want to reframe that for you. They're not really hidden. They're just unknown possibilities that you can absolutely plan for. This isn't about fear. It's about being strategic.
So what are these things we should plan for? Well, first, building permits. If you're moving plumbing or electrical, they're not optional. Second, a temporary kitchen. Seriously, a remodel can take months. You're going to need a plan for your morning coffee. And third, yes, the potential for surprises when you open up the walls. You might find some old wiring or leaky plumbing that has to be brought up to code. It doesn't always happen, but it's smart to be ready for it.
So, how do you prepare? It's simple.
You build a buffer right into your budget from day one. The industry standard is to set aside an extra 10 to 15% as a contingency fund. Now, this is not a slush fund for upgrading your faucet later. This is your peace of mind fund. It's what lets you handle an unexpected issue without derailing the whole project.
Okay, let's add one final, crucial layer to all this. Your budget can't just be about the project itself. It has to connect to your long-term goals for your home. You really have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Let's imagine two families with the exact same budget. The first family, this is their forever home. They should absolutely spend their money on the things that will make their daily life better. That big layout change might be totally worth it for them. They should pick the crazy backsplash they've always loved. But the second family is planning to sell in 5 years. Their approach should be completely different. They need to think about broad appeal, choosing neutral finishes and safe layouts that will give them the best return on their investment. Same money, totally different strategies.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, the 4 questions, the 5 building blocks, the ripple effect, and your own personal goals, you get this incredibly powerful framework for success. You go from being a nervous client to a confident partner in your own project. With this way of thinking, you can have clear, productive conversations with contractors. You can make better decisions about where to spend and where to save. Maybe you'll choose less expensive appliances so you can afford that layout change that really matters to you. You'll get the why behind the costs, and you'll feel genuinely good about your choices. If you only remember one thing today, please let it be this. Kitchen remodel costs are not mysterious. They are not random numbers. They are the direct, logical result of a series of choices that you, the homeowner, get to make, all organized into 5 simple categories.
And that puts all the power right back where it belongs, with you. You now have the exact framework that professionals use. So the final question isn't, what's my budget? The real question is, what matters most to you in your new kitchen?